let me just stretch for this one.
So Jonny put his prosthetic.
Welcome to another episode of NFPete. I'm Pete, aka the Film Boss, and today, for music fans, for MultiVAC fans, for anyone who's a fan of music and NFTs, this is the place to be. We got a very special guest. We have Jonathan from THISISWAR, who's responsible for one of the first music tracks ever delivered on the MultiVAC Blockchain. And we were excited to learn all about that experience, all about the band, and what else is coming next. Welcome, bro. Welcome to the show, man. I'm very excited to have you here. I wanted to hear a little bit about this band, THISISWAR.
Simon is our producer, and Andy
Okay.
he's our mix and master engineer. So, like, basically, Simon records and produces our stuff. But Simon was in a band called The Verve. Have you heard of The Verve?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Well, Simon's the bass player in The Verve.
Wow,
So,
that's unbelievable. Yeah, I was a fan of that.
He's a big name to be working with. Like, he's such a cool guy as well. Absolutely amazing. And all the stuff that we're going through in the studio is like Verve gear. So it's quite a lot of analog processes and stuff like that. Once it's been recorded with Simon and produced, the stuff goes over then to Andy Fernyhow, and he's a bit of a local legend in Liverpool. So he's one of the main like mix engineers. He does all the mastering and stuff like that. So he perfects the sound at the end, and then we basically just to and fro mixes from Andy then, and once we get the perfect mix, it's then ready for release.
So who else is in the band then?
Paul Cardeney's our lead singer-songwriter. He was in a band called the Black Velvet, so he's got previous, Paul. He's done some pretty big stuff himself. He's toured with the Killers, the Who. They did quite well. So yeah, he's got previous. Then there's me. I was playing bands through the 90s, and then I was doing session work up until before the pandemic hit. So I was working with a 90s band called Hurricane Number One. I was out on tour with them, and I was meant to go to Germany with the Pearl Jam tribute band. I was playing for them as well, but COVID hit, and then it just all fell through kind of thing. And then our bass player, Andy Williams, phenomenal bass player. We've got Mike Mullard, he's the other guitarist. He's a really good guitarist. He does backing vocals as well. And then we've got our drummer, Martin Lee. He's the heartbeat of the band. Really good drummer. Everything's solid with them. So
I love drummers. A good friend of mine's actually a drummer for the band Biohazard. So I got to go on tour with them a little bit.
Oh man, I've seen Biohazard, man. I went to see Biohazard. They were on tour with Creator, late 80s, early 90s, and they did the Judgment Night soundtrack stuff as well, which is dead cool. I was into that, man. So that's phenomenal.
Cool.
Yeah, Biohazard rock, man, boss band, yeah.
Oh, cool. The best. So how did the band form, man? How'd you guys get together?
I was working with Mike, Andy, and Martin with a different project that didn't really come to fruition, and we were sort of jamming and writing ourselves, and then we got a phone call from Stuart, who was Stuart's a manager guy based in Scotland. He manages bands and stuff. So Stuart called me and just said, listen, do you remember a band called the Black Velvet? I was like, yeah, man. Basically, Stuart introduced us to Paul, and then we started jamming with him in the studio, and it just hit it off, and we started writing tunes then. So this band was formed in lockdown. Basically, it was around about February 2021. Yeah, it was just really good. The first song we wrote was Sugar. then we progressed on to others and stuff. And then we didn't start recording until about late September or mid-September in 2021, and then we started releasing in 2021, around about October.
So I actually know that N3 Asimov was on the chain. He had released the first audio NFTs where they had just little snippets of sounds. So I was like, oh, I never thought of that. That's pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, you know, a month later or so, this music shows up. So tell us a little bit about that whole thing, man, because I'd love to hear how you got into that and your perspective.
Okay, so first of all, it's extremely exciting for MultiVAC, this whole music thing. And the fact that the ticker MTV, it's just like, I was looking to get into NFTs musically because, I mean, anyone who's got a brain can see the future for musical artists is NFT, 1,000,000%, because number one, musicians can start getting paid for what they actually produce. So first of all, I had to sell it to the band because they weren't really crypto savvy. You know, I'm the only nerd who's into all this stuff. So I sold it to them, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, let's have a go." So I basically went to work and I started minting on Ethereum at first, but I quickly realised that it was burning a hole in my pocket, man. It's just like
it's bad.
Fees, man. It's ridiculous. The fees that you stop seeing. We're not developers, you know. Like, I haven't got a clue when it comes to code, stuff like that. So for us to actually get our music onto Epic, onto MultiVAC, is a testament to Epic and to Dave. For us to be able to do that without any coding knowledge is phenomenal, and it opens the floodgates, man, for like loads of musicians to come in and actually start this process themselves and start like producing their own NFTs. So we moved on to Solana. Solana's really good. You can mint on Solana, and the thing I like about Solana is you can actually see your musical NFT in your Phantom wallet, and you can actually play it in the Phantom wallet. That's a really cool feature, and I think in the future, if anyone's developing wallets for MultiVAC, that would be a must, to be able to play audio NFTs in a wallet. Again, it was costly, and I'm just a massive MTV fan anyway. I was invested in the company. The community's amazing. I mean, you've got like Proxima, seeing you guys interviewing Proxima, they're cool. Obviously, Muted Monkeys. I just love the whole. It's like a family atmosphere, man. It's great. Yeah. So I started looking into minting on MultiVAC, and we actually got in touch with MultiVAC, and we got in touch with Tom. It was Tom at MultiVAC. It was a while ago, and they said basically MTV Art's coming out. There might be an audio feature, this, that, the other, but obviously that didn't come to fruition. So we were waiting, and then up pops Dave with Epic and the feature to mint NFTs, and we were like, let's have it! Yes! So it was like, come on. So basically, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So sat down, created the collection. I was like on the phone to the guys, listen, I can do this now. We can make this happen. So basically minted 100 because it was our latest single, and it was doing really well. The figures were going stupid on Spotify. So I was like, let's go for that, man. Let's do it. And the artwork's really cool. We've got a guy who does our art, Jonny. He's a Scottish guy.
Cage Bird Designs.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, man. You might want to get him on. He's a cool guy, and he's up and coming. I'm in talks with him now for the NFT project, away from the band, just like an art one that we're talking about, which is quite exciting. So we ended up putting ETA onto MultiVAC with the art and released it on the 17th.
Yeah, it's live on Epic Gallery, and for anyone eager to grab one, explain this unique process, how this works, because I know that there's a track on each one, and each NFT is divided, and then they were uploaded kind of individually because of the larger file size. So anyone who wants to grab one, what do they need to know?
There's 114 mints on there. Primarily, the 100 mints were going on sale. 80% of those mints are the standard single track with the artwork numbered. But in between them numbers, we've got 20% of the collection, which is black and white artwork, which has got a bonus track on the end, which we tagged on, which is Pyramids, which is a song that we're releasing on the 26th. But the version you've got on that NFT is a live version from the studio. So it's a completely like ragtag version. It's proper like raw, you know. It was just recorded in the room. And then we've got about 10 to 14 what we call promo mints. That was an idea I had, really, because back in like the 90s and stuff, when people were releasing on vinyl, early 90s, late 80s. Yeah, man, people releasing on vinyl. And these companies would say, listen, we've got a promo mint, and a promo vinyl, and they'd send that promo vinyl to like a radio station or media or whatever. And if you had a promo vinyl for a certain artist, they'd usually worth a fortune. Like the initial test presses of Fleetwood Mac Rumours went for absolute silly money. So they were like promo versions, you know. So I thought it'd be cool to like incorporate that ethos, that 80s vinyl ethos into our thing. So we've done like 10 to 14 promo mints, which we're going to be sending out to associates and press and people who help us along the way, you know. So
are you planning to release, I know the second track was Pyramids that was on there, which by the way rocks if anyone hasn't heard it.
Cheers, man. Nice one.
But are you planning to release future tracks on there? Like, what's the plan for the band? Is this something that's going to be like you're solely going to release on NFTs, or you're going to release regular and this is kind of a supplement? Explain the process from the band's perspective.
From the band's perspective, it was just streaming sites, okay? Because obviously we're an unsigned band. We tried to like stay off the radar a bit. We want to try and do things organically at first. So primarily streaming sites and then the NFTs. So the only release out there at the minute are these NFTs, man. So it's like, grab one while you can, because I'm telling you now, this thing's going to explode. I've got some plans in place for possible airdrops for NFT holders. We're just looking at stuff now because there's so many options with music. I mean, I could airdrop you like a gig ticket for life. So you could just come up and show your ticket at a venue and just get into any venue, man. Do you know what I mean? I could airdrop you, say, like excerpts from Paul's diary, so you could get like handwritten lyrics from the song that you've got the NFT for. There's tons of different options that we're like looking at the minute.
That's cool. Really interesting. So basically, this is pretty cool because I didn't even think about this, but if you're buying an NFT of the track, not only do you get the music track, not only do you get some cool artwork like back in the day when we had CD covers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You get all this stuff together, but then on top of that, you're actually into the loop for possible airdrops for free merchandise, free concerts, all sorts of stuff like that.
It's all in the pipeline, man. We've got some interest. This is garnered quite a bit of attention, what we're doing, to be honest, because we seem to be like the first organic British guitar band on NFTs. So like there's a press release going out next week, because if we get some mainstream press attention, it will not only bring attention to the band, but it'll bring attention to the chain.
And speaking of music fans, I definitely wanted to ask this question. For any other artists, because you guys are the first that I know of, for any other artists looking to release their music through NFTs and stuff, tell us what you learned from this process, from this experience that you can share with them.
If artists are looking to get into minting NFTs, MultiVAC is, in my personal opinion, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, because you're paying 0 fees to mint. Your stuff gets on there, especially if you use Epic, man. And Dave's there to back it up, because Dave is amazing. I must have harassed this guy. Like I must have had him up the wall, because I was like testing him, how do you do this, blah blah blah. But he's so helpful. He's brilliant, and he helped me a lot. So shout out to Dave, man.
Is there anything else you wanted to share about the band? Anything else that we could look to? Any shows coming up? Anywhere that people who are interested in This Is War, where could they find out more about you?
We're actually playing tonight in Liverpool, but I don't think it'll be out by then. But we've got some shows coming up, man. Keep an eye on the Twitter, obviously. Just get on our Twitter page and all the announcements go through there. We've got Pyramids getting released on streaming sites on the 26th. I'm not sure if we're going to do an NFT for it. We actually had a conversation this morning. It's a possibility. So it just depends if we can clear out these ETA NFTs and we can get them, and then maybe start thinking about airdrops, and then Pyramids, if we can get that minted and ready to go by the 26th.
Beautiful, John. Man, I know you got a show coming up tonight and you got to go soon, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Can I see that shirt, though?
Hey!
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, man.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, there's actually a link, just to plug this, there's a link to our merch page.
I'll make sure it's on the video and stuff so people can find it and go there without a doubt. But I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this stuff, man. This is huge for MultiVAC. It's huge for music. And the fact that the two are together is just a home run in my opinion. So appreciate it,
listen,
man.
buddy, I'm just privileged to be on your show, man. I've been watching from afar, and I think you're really cool. And the show's great, and what you're doing for the channel. Sorry, the blockchain, it's amazing. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I hope if I'm in England, man, if I get to go to that Proxima thing, I'm definitely stopping by a show, brother.
If you're in England, you call me, man.
100%, man. I can't wait. Appreciate the time, man. And everybody, check out This Is War. Thank you, man.
Cheers.
as always, do your own damn research. Make sure you're comfortable with all the facts that you find out and all the decisions you make before you invest in any NFT project. Don't just listen to dumbasses like me, unless you like listening to dumbasses out there, and then hit the subscribe button below. Talk to you soon.